Wide guard again. They really don't want to allow that heat wave, which makes sense since their Chaladon is a bug type now. Volcarona is at +4. Rillaboom is KO'd. We'll finally see what their last Pokemon is. Sinistcha. Yeah, okay, I can see why they didn't want to allow the heat wave, but anyway, here it comes, and I guess with a blizzard as well. This team just won a regional championship in Belo Horizonte. I hope I'm saying that reasonably well. I tried to double check the pronunciation, but got conflicting information. Nonetheless, this is now a major tournament winning team. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It looks a lot like the team that won the Frankfurt Regional fairly recently. Except that this one has Quiverdance Volcarona instead of Gholdengo, so that's a little bit different. And Volcarona does look very strong on this team, as it can get passive healing from Rillaboom, fake out support from Rillaboom and Incineroar, speed control if it needs more of that, and more importantly, Encore support so that it's harder for opponents to remove it from Ninetales. I could even see the Yawn, Blood Moon Ursaluna being helpful. We see a few of the techs that have popped up in the metagame lately. The Sword Stance Acrobatic Sneasler, once again with that Grassy Seed so that Rillaboom can activate Unburden for it. The Terra Electric Blood Moon Ursaluna with a couple of strong attacks and Yawn. Terra Electric. Last time, the best I could do to puzzle it out was that it was just kind of a generally good defensive Terra type because it's not weak to very much, especially in this format, apart from opposing Ursaluna and maybe if you run into a Garchomp, but it does also have some resistances that may be valuable here, notably to Gholdengo, Make It Rain, our Chaladon, Electro Shot. I think Make It Rain is probably a significant one, at least on some teams, although the Volcarona does give this team a lot of help into Gholdengo. In any case, this team has a lot of threats, a lot of different ways it can play. It looks very flexible with Incineroar and Rillaboom supporting just massively threatening Pokemon like Sneasler, Ursaluna, and Volcarona, with the Ninetales throwing off those blizzards as well. Maybe we get some freezes. But some parts of this are very familiar, some parts of it less so. Let's jump on the ladder and see how each part works for us. And then I'll probably look at the runner-up team next week. That's the tentative plan, at least. Okay, we get a Spothra right away. A Spothra Psy-Spam. That's been popping up a couple times lately, hasn't it? Espathra, Male and Didi, Sneasler, probably with a Psychic Seed, and then a Rain Trio next to that of Archaladon, Pelipper, and Basculegion. So, Rillaboom is very, very strong here. It's the best threat I have with the Basculegion, and it changes the terrain. Obviously, they have ways to beat it, but I think it's important in this matchup. I also think I probably don't want to lead with it. I can fight them over weather if I want. I don't know if I want. I think Incineroar comes to this for sure. Volcarona is strong basically into everything but the water types. But can I get away with like... well, we're going to find out because I'm going to try it. Can I get away with like Volcarona... Volcarona, Incineroar, Ninetales, Rillaboom? Just bring my weather and my terrain so I can disrupt whatever mode they throw at me. It is Basculegion and Pelipper right away here. So, kind of the worst lead I could have thrown at this. At least we get an intimidated Basculegion. I think I'm just going to go Ninetales, and I think I'm just going to switch both my Pokemon here. Turn 1. Always feels a little weird to do that, but Volcarona and Incineroar are not well positioned against these two. If I can change the weather and have Rillaboom create an offensive threat, I mean, that's something, I think. I'm very tired. I got back from Thanksgiving late last night. I'm recording this one same day. I got back from Thanksgiving late last night, and I'm feeling it right now, but hopefully I can still play some decent Pokemon. Pelipper goes for an Ice-type Weather Ball into, unfortunately, what does end up being the Rillaboom slot. I think I would like to just throw off a Blizzard here. I guess it'll boost our Chaladon, but... Well, I need to beat our Chaladon some other way, don't I? I don't want to pivot right back to Incineroar, actually, especially now that I know that Pelipper has Weather Ball, so that is an Ice-type attack, and there's probably no Water Stab right now. Preserve the Rillaboom for the time being. Protect on Pelipper, okay. It can get Wide Guard, but it's definitely not as likely in this format where there aren't big restricted Pokemon spread moves. flying around. That said, I don't feel like that Blizzard into Archelodon was actually very worthwhile. But maybe I can get Volcarona set up now. The Quiver Dance. I can do a Parting Shot into Archelodon maybe. Try to catch the Basculegion if they try to pivot that back in. You have to beat this Pelipper eventually. It probably is a Focus Sash. They go with Spathra, so that's their last Pokemon here. So that can set up with Speed Boost and click Lumina Crash. They didn't bring the Indeedee. Quiver Dance again. I don't think they have much to threaten Volcarona here. It's actually in a decent spot against the Archelodon, especially since it resists Body Press, and I put a lot of physical bulk on it. And then if I can get away with just throwing a Wood Hammer into this Espathra, I think that helps me break the game open a little bit more. If I'm ever going to do that, I think this is what it looks like to start. Actually, I think Archelodon's just going to knock out Rillaboom here. Okay, I'm playing this really badly. Maybe I just don't understand how to approach the matchup, but I still think Volcarona can win. But Pelipper and Basculegion in the back with Rain, maybe not. I also have to think about my Terra. I don't really want to click the Terra Fairy on Volcarona in front of these guys, but maybe I want to against the other guys. That means that I don't have the I'm just gonna fake out the Archelodon. I don't care about the stamina boost at this point in the game, because I just need Volcarona to carry, is what it comes down to. Yeah, I don't think I can get away with the Terra Ghost on Incineroar, so Incineroar will go down here. I'm continuing to set up Volcarona because Swift Swim, Basculegion, should be faster now, actually. I can think about Fairy Terra Blast into Archelodon. Okay, I've thought about it. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of damage. They go for Electro Shot into Incineroar. It actually doesn't KO. Body Press would have, but maybe they thought I would Terra Incineroar. Pelipper Hurricane doesn't do too much to Volcarona now that's a Fairy type. I do have to be... We knew by now that it was AV Archelodon, so it's not going to have Protect. I do have to be hopeful that Volcarona doesn't get confused. Oh, they have Tailwind. I didn't even think about that. So now Basculegion can still outspeed Volcarona. There are only 2 Rain turns left, so it actually is still winnable. But I'll probably need a double Protect. But yeah, I guess I needed 2 more Quiver Dances after all. And in this position, I probably could have gotten them. They Wave Crash Volcarona, then Pelipper knocks out Incineroar, so there's no knockoff into Basculegion. I just need a double Protect. That's all this comes down to at this point. 1 in 3 chance. Don't get it. Okay. Alright, well I made some sloppy plays there. Hopefully we can do better in however many more games. This is another Rain team. This is some Wolfie Draft League Pokegame stuff right here with Greninja and Archelodon. Actually, I think this is from a tournament recently. Maybe Monterey? Not sure. Basculegion, Archelodon, Greninja, Sinistcha, Annihilate, Pelipper. They also can set up an Annihilate. Or it could be Scarfape. I feel like this might be a team that I know. It might even be a team that I've used already, and I'm just not remembering right now. The Sinistcha, of course, can also keep the Archelodon healthy. Setting up Volcarona, again, is tricky in front of Rain. We saw with the Basculegion under Tailwind last time, but we also saw that Volcarona, if I'd gotten a couple more Quiver Dances, and I think I probably could have, was actually really well positioned to sweep from there. And I definitely like it against the Annihilate. I think I do bring it. Do I need Ursaluna for these Archelodon that I'm running into? I don't think so, because Volcarona can beat them. Let's do Sneasler, Rillaboom, Ninetales, Volcarona. Now I can have Sneasler pressure things early when really I was just the one under pressure last game. Now I kind of want to click Acrobatics into this Ape right away, cover for a Sash set, because I really don't remember if this is a team that I know what kind of ape this is. But I don't want to click the Terra Flying because, again, I might need the Terra Fairy on Volcarona. So I'm just going to what is Sword Stance? Honestly, if it's Scarf Ape and they Final Gambit my Sneasler, I mean, that's also a way to get rid of their ape. I don't know what to do with Rillaboom. It's not really anything I like. I don't really want to Woodhammer the ape. I don't really want a high horsepower. Don't really want to switch out to Ninetales in front of our Chaladon. Let's just high horsepower our Chaladon. Get some chip on that if we can. Okay, they go Terra Bug immediately. It is Final Gambit Ape, but like I said, I'm okay with taking this trade in this game. I don't love boosting the Chaladon, but Volcarona, especially now that our Chaladon has lowered its special attack, Volcarona should sit in front of that pretty nicely. We'll go Volcarona right now. We do see the Pelipper. But I can change the weather immediately with Ninetales, so I think I'm okay to just Quiver Dance and switch to Ninetales. I do like me a Reg H team that has weather and terrain options, even if the team is not completely built around them. Okay, Hurricane Confusion into Ninetales, better than the Volcarona. Our Chaladon goes for an Electro Shot, gets the boost, but doesn't get the attack just yet. I don't know what they have in the back. I'll keep Quiver Dancing for now. Don't hate the idea of clicking Blizzard. I could click Icy Wind. Could click Protect. Okay, just go right back to Rillaboom. Ninetales being confused. Now, if it weren't confused, maybe I Protect and see if they switch the Pelipper out, but I just decided to guess this time instead. Okay, they have Wide Guard, so I can't Heat Wave the Archaladon. As long as the Wide Guard is a thing. Let's Woodhammer this slot. If it's Basculegion or Greninja, it doesn't want to take it doesn't want to switch in on that. And Pelipper doesn't especially want to take the damage either. So I don't know if that's I don't know if that can exactly be called a pin, but it's not far off of one. I am liking this Volcarona a lot so far, even though I don't have the results to show for it yet. No, it's only game 2. Okay, knock Pelipper down to Sash. I'll go for a Grassy Glide now. I would love to KO Pelipper if they let me, without them getting Rain back up. Wide Guard again. They really don't want to allow that Heat Wave, which makes sense since their Chaladon is Bug type now. Volcarona's at +4. Rillaboom's KO'd. We'll finally see what their last Pokemon is. Sinistra. Yeah, okay, I can see why they didn't want to allow the Heat Wave, but anyway, here it comes, and I guess with a Blizzard as well. Yeah, that just gets 2 KOs. Ninetales didn't need to do anything there. There's a better look at how strong this team is. I am liking the Quiver Dance Volcarona a lot through both of these games so far. It can definitely find openings against... I mean, we faced 2 rain teams in a row, not a broad sample of the meta, but it can definitely find some openings to set up and then become very hard to remove, at least for some opponents. Here we get Whimsicott, Hisuian Arcanine, Sneasler, Male and Indeedee, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, and Primarina. So it looks like Tailwind stuff, it looks like probably Psychic Seed Unburdened stuff, it looks like this being Reg H, a variety of different offensive threats that can be thrown at us, so that it's hard to cover for all of them. Volcarona looks a little bit worse here because that Hisuian Arcanine is obviously a huge rock-type threat. I like Rillaboom for changing terrain, threatening Ursaluna and Primarina. I think I like my Sneasler. I don't have Dire Claw. And of course it can be intimidated. Ursaluna is okay, but Ursaluna is, I don't know, pretty vulnerable to Sneasler and Primarina, but he's also just such a strong Pokemon. I think that my opponent doesn't have any apparent weather. They could have like Sunny Day Whimsicott for some reason, but I think I like what I've been using so far. I just leave the Ninetales behind for this one. So like Sneasler, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Volcarona. Let's see. They lead Whimsicott and Arcanine. Sneasler will get intimidated immediately and will be unable to safely click Sword Stance in front of the Whimsicott. Let's just throw an Acrobatics into Whimsicott, I think. Don't hate the idea of Terra Fire here. Once again, I like to preserve my Terra for Volcarona, but I also like the idea of just throwing a high horsepower into this Arcanine. I'm going to do that. And I need Rillaboom to not be knocked out before that happens. That makes Rillaboom a little bit weaker to Ursaluna and Primarina, but I can still threaten them with Grassy Glide at least. They switched that out to Sneasler. Okay, well the high horsepower should still hurt. Acrobatics does some good damage to Whimsicott. High horsepower does some good damage to Sneasler. Do we get Indeedee switching in next? I think that's very plausible. So I'm going to target an Acrobatics into this slot, actually. And switch out to Incineroar. It's a little bit silly. I mean, Intimidating to Sneasler is nice. It's a little bit silly if they don't switch Indeedee in, but feels like they probably want their Unburden. They got the Tailwind up. Whimsicott switch out. They might not have brought Indeedee to the game, but I'd like to be able to change the terrain back if they have. So I think preserving Rillaboom here is reasonable. They also, if they have Indeedee, they don't have Ursaluna or Primarina, and at most they have one of those two Pokemon. And they knock their Sneasler out here. So the Terrafire and Rillaboom is not looking too terribly likely to be punished, although it could still happen. Arcanine's back. We get another Intimidating to Sneasler. Whimsicott should be in range of Acrobatics anyway. Let's just fake out the Arcanine for this turn. I can get rid of Whimsicott, or just find out what their last Pokemon is, and I can figure out what to do next. Whimsicott's gone. Next Pokemon is, well, last Pokemon even is, it is Indeedee, okay. They didn't bring it in to get the faster Sneasler earlier. Anyway, Sneasler is at -2 attack, but it's... if I switch it out, I don't get Unburden back, and also I'm going to faint anyway, so I'm just going to close combat the Arcanine and change the terrain here. I'm just looking to aggressively get rid of this Arcanine. Volcarona should be able to beat Indeedee if need be. That close combat actually still does a lot of damage. And Rock Slide misses Sneasler, KOs Rillaboom. I'll go Incineroar now. Get an Intimidate that they can't really do anything about. This could be a choice item Arcanine, so I'll just close combat. I'm not going to worry about reading a Protect. I also can fake out Indeedee this turn. That's a little bit safer then. Of course, the Psychic Terrain isn't up anymore. That fake out did a lot of damage, actually. And now Indeedee is alone. Should not be able to win this, I think. I actually could preserve the Sneasler here, but I really don't think there's any need. Let's just... Acrobatics. That almost KOs outright. They KO Sneasler back. I get a Parting Shot into Indeedee just to pivot Volcarona in. I'll get Incineroar right back, and then I can fake out. And Heat Wave. And the fake out actually KOs. How often do you see that? Alright. This is getting a little bit smoother. Let's go on to the next one. Volcarona didn't have much of a role in that one, but Sneasler went kind of crazy, even after taking 2 Intimidates and without ever clicking a Sword Stance. So, even without Dire Claw, Sneasler is just a menace in this format, as usual. Here we get Tyranitar, Incineroar, Amoonguss, Garchomp, Rillaboom, and Gholdengo. So, tough one for Volcarona. It is my best Gholdengo answer, although Incineroar is, I'd say, a close second. Covert Cloak, Volcarona, Goggles, Incineroar. I definitely think I bring Incineroar to this one. It's my best answer to Amoonguss. It's one of my best answers to Gholdengo, and Intimidate is good into everything else. I like Rillaboom here. I like Sneasler here. I almost like Ninetales here, but I think not quite. I feel like if I'm going to bring Ursaluna, this might be the game for it. Let's do Sneasler, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Ursaluna this time. They lead Garchomp and Rillaboom. Okay. So they have Fake Out Pressure. I'll Protect. And I think I'm down to just Woodhammer Garchomp if they let me. Something like throwing off big, strong attacks with Rillaboom. The Fake Out goes into Sneasler. Garchomp goes for Swords Dance. It takes a lot of damage. And they don't have terrain that they can set up, so I can Grassy Glide Garchomp now and just click Acrobatics into Rillaboom. I mean, they could switch. They do. Tyranitar's here. It's not going to take much from Acrobatics. Garchomp protects. I could close combat Tyranitar now. There's a good chance they Terrastalize it. I can see Terra flying, because that's common on Tyranitar, and that would give them an out against my Rillaboom. I don't think they attack Sneasler this turn, though. I think they're too pressured by Rillaboom, so I'm actually going to go for a Swords Dance here. And Grassy Glide to keep the Garchomp honest. They do switch it out to Incineroar, but, you know, I didn't want to let Garchomp off the hook with that Swords Dance boost. They will get an opening to target. Oh, they attack Sneasler. Okay, well, that wasn't such a well-timed Swords Dance then, after all. I guess with the Incineroar, they didn't feel as much pressure as I hoped they would to immediately remove Rillaboom. Okay, it's Clear Amulet Tyranitar. That's actually just really hard for me to beat at this point. Ursaluna is probably my best bet. Definitely my best bet. Opponent also has Fake Out pressure. Let's go for my own Fake Out into Tyranitar. And just switch to Ursaluna. Their Incineroar goes first. Makes sense. I don't have any speed investment. I feel like most people run speed investment on Incineroar, but I don't have my head around that. But with leftovers, Ursaluna shrugs off the Rock Slide. Oh, it's Yawn Ursaluna. Maybe I could have had a position where maybe I didn't need to play so aggressively with my Rillaboom. I could have gotten a position where I could force the Garchomp out a different way, especially now that I know that Garchomp doesn't have the Clear Amulet, although of course I didn't know that immediately. Actually, Incineroar's kind of stuck here. It drops to Rock Slide. Okay. I don't love bringing Rillaboom in, but I will. Let's Blood Moon this Tyranitar now that I know it doesn't have an Assault Vest. Effects, which it also can do because it doesn't have an Assault Vest. The Parting Shoot Ursaluna. I don't think I win this one. But let's see. Garchomp's here. Garchomp can protect. I think I'm down to Yawn the Tyranitar. I also think I need grassy terrain if ever I win this. So I'm actually going to pivot Rillaboom right back out. That's a little short-sighted of me. You get intimidated into Garchomp from that. They crit Ursaluna immediately with Dragon Claw, though. Flying Terra Blast doesn't quite take out Incineroar, but it's very low. We get a Yawn into Tyranitar. I thought Garchomp might protect that turn because I forgot the Grassy Terrain was going to fade. Okay. I'll click Parting Shot. They'll probably knock Incineroar out before the move can go off. Actually, they target Ursaluna. It's Rock Slide. Okay. Misses Ursaluna, KOs Incineroar. They are going to let the Tyranitar fall asleep. The Garchomp is knocked out now. Ursaluna has the leftovers, and I'll get Grassy Terrain back up here, so will my opponent. But anyway, the Grassy Terrain is here. I don't know if I beat this Rillaboom, though. If I go Terra Electric, I give up my Rock Slide resistance. That's been very helpful so far. Let's see how much damage I can do to the Rillaboom. The Fake Out does go into Ursaluna here. I mean, the Wood Hammer does some damage, but I think I just have to Terra Ursaluna and Blood Moon Rillaboom and kind of just hope for the best. But the best doesn't happen as we see the game ends here. Yeah, Ursaluna still drops to a Wood Hammer. The move is very strong from Rillaboom. They just picked me apart. I mean, the Clear Amulet Tyranitar instead of the more common Assault Vest definitely caught me off guard, but also, yeah, I think I had other ways to deal with their Garchomp besides just throwing every big grass type attack into it every turn I could. Hariyama, Kilowattrel, Tyranitar, Garchomp, Hisuian Typhlosion, and Amoonguss. And unfortunately I'm playing a hacker, so probably going to lose this one. I know Kilowattrel has a presence in the meta. I haven't been running into it too often. Also, Hariyama. I don't know if Hariyama is doing much in the meta. It looks like it might be, judging by its presence here. I definitely feel comfier with this team when I have Volcarona, and I can Terra Fairy, but I think if I bring Volcarona to this matchup, I pretty much have to hard commit the Terra to it. I could try Sneasler Rillaboom lead again. It's awkward into Kilowattrel. Everything's awkward into Kilowattrel, and Cineroar gives it a competitive boost if they have that. Ninetales can Blizzard it. But Ninetales is weak to so much of what my opponent has. I think I'm just going to do Sneasler, Rillaboom lead, Volcarona in the back, and I'll do Ursaluna for this one. But yeah, I think I am just committing to the Terra Fairy, Volcarona, and seeing what I can figure out with that. It looks like a tough team to beat. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, depending on their lead, Sneasler and Rillaboom might not be badly positioned here. Hisuian, Typhlosion, and Kilowattrel is probably not what I wanted to see, though. Get Fresked because this is closed team sheet. I guess the nice thing is I can move first here and just get an Acrobatics into Typhlosion and weaken any possible Eruption. I also could Terra Fire, but no, I said if I'm bringing Volcarona this game, I pretty much have to save the Terra for it. Let's just Grassy Glide Typhlosion. If Rillaboom goes down, so be it. They Terra Ghost their Kilowattrel, presumably to avoid a Fake Out. But I was more afraid of the Typhlosion. It actually goes for Heat Wave instead of Eruption. They knock out Sneasler with an Air Slash from Kilowattrel. Okay. Typhlosion is in Grassy Glide range now, so that's nice. Actually, I think I can just go Volcarona here. Terra Fairy. Might as well Terra Fairy right away with this thing throwing off Flying Stab and start Quiver Dancing. And see if they let me KO their Typhlosion here. They do. Okay. Yeah, Air Slash into Volcarona actually does a fair bit of damage. We get the special defense up and the speed. They haven't set Tailwind. Can I just Fairy Terra Blast this Garchomp immediately? And Grassy Glide Kilowattrel. Garchomp protects. Okay, could have gotten another Quiver Dance there. Oh well. Grassy Glide crits, but it is, of course, Sash Kilowattrel. I mean, I figured when I saw the Ghost Terra. They do set their Tailwind here. Okay. I'll protect Volcarona this turn, I think, and go for a Wood Hammer into Garchomp. Switch Kilowattrel out to Hariyama. That's probably good news. Stomping Tantrum into Volcarona. That does leave Garchomp open to this Wood Hammer. Does a lot of damage. They have Rough Skin. Not too bothered about that. Hariyama's burned with Guts. Okay. I feel like I need another Quiver Dance. I feel like I can Grassy Glide this Garchomp. Nope, they fake out Rillaboom. Don't know why I didn't think of that. Hariyama is like the original fake out user. Garchomp gets burned by the Flame Body though. Volcarona's getting worn down a little bit, but I can protect here. One thing that is kind of awkward is with the leftovers on Ursaluna, Volcarona has the Covert Cloak instead. I definitely prefer leftovers and stacking that with grassy terrain on my bulky setup Pokemon. Or at the very least, it would be nice to have Giga Drain on Volcarona, but I'm sure there wasn't room for it for some reason or another. Protect Volk here. It's the last turn of Tailwind. They knock out Rillaboom. Volk should be outspeeding anything now. I have Ursaluna. However, I think I just have to Terra Blast this Hariyama. It's just so threatening if I don't. Kilowattrel's not immune to Earth Power after its Terra, so I can do that. We protect. Thought they might set Tailwind again immediately. They don't. They have Bullet Punch on the Hariyama. Makes sense. Actually gets pretty close to knocking out Volcarona, but not quite. And they still don't have Tailwind up. And they DC'd. Yeah, Fairy Terra Blast took out the Hariyama. I think here, I mean, Garchomp's burned. I just Terra Blast Kilowattrel. I don't mess with Heat Wave because it can miss. That way they can't set Tailwind, and I can just Blood Moon Garchomp. They DC'd, but I guess they did still put in their play. As a burned Earthquake still doesn't even KO Volcarona. Volcarona just clutching up here. Hariyama, of course, is also burned, but it had Guts. It had gotten its own burn from a Flame Orb there. Volcarona clutches up and wins. Sneasler, Porygon 2, Blood Moon Ursaluna, Kingambit, or Chaladon and Pelipper. More rain stuff. But we found that Fairy Volcarona is actually pretty good into the rain stuff. This is a little bit more troublesome because they do have a Sneasler. So if that has Dire Claw, which not all of them do now, it could be an issue. I think I'm okay here though to go Sneasler, Rillaboom, Ninetales, Volcarona. They do have ways they can punish that mode, but Sneasler and Rillaboom should put out decent pressure right away into this team with, you know, a couple of Steel types and this Ursaluna here. Ninetales can change the weather on them, and then I look for openings to set up Volcarona. Protect Sneasler here. Let's just Acrobatics their Sneasler and fake out Pelipper, actually. They protect, okay. Given that I don't know their Sneasler set, and it definitely could be a giant threat to my Volcarona, I would like to remove it quickly if I can. I'll Acrobatics again here, and go to Ninetales. Okay, switching our Chaladon. Yeah, I'm playing a little bit too straightforwardly sometimes, which I think I do often, but also goes with the territory of not a ton of sleep last night. What can you do? Go aggressively for the Volcarona here. That's what I will do. Quiver Dance. Attack Ninetales. Pelipper doesn't switch out. It says Tailwind. Okay. They Flash Cannon with the Archaladon. Keep Quiver Dancing. I'm in a pretty good position for it. They could Hurricane the Volcarona. Don't really want to let Ninetales get Flash Cannon, so I guess I'll go back to Rillaboom here. Yeah, also they switched Pelipper out same turn, so now we both preserve the ability to change the weather. They get one Electro Shot with a Power Herb. Volcarona's at +2. Might as well protect it from... There are a bunch of shenanigans the Sneasler can throw at me, right? Fake Out. Probably doesn't have much of a threatening follow-up, but it also could still outspeed Volcarona because of the Tailwind. And could Dire Claw get a status, or... Dire Claw get a status, or... Acrobatics. Chaladon's just stacking up those Electro Shots. I guess they still have another turn of Tailwind, so the Sneasler is still a threat, but let's go for another Quiver Dance here and still try to keep it honest with high horsepower. The Dire Claw goes into Rillaboom, so the high horsepower threat kind of pays off. The Electro Shot goes into +3 Volcarona. It does some damage, but... Now, my opponent does now have weather control because I'm down to just Ninetales and Sneasler, or Ninetales and Volcarona. For that reason, I don't think I want to... Actually, I don't think I want a Heat Wave here. I actually think I'm going to normal Terra Blast. Still not Terra Fairy just yet because of the Dire Claw. And go for Blizzard. They switched to Pelipper. Okay. Makes sense they do it now. They can throw off those Electro Shots all they want. It does drop to the normal Terra Blast, but I missed the Blizzard. Electro Shot goes in one turn now. Volcarona's Archaladon's at +3, which is the same as Volcarona. And now I think I lose to Sneasler. For Icy Wind here. We get some measure of speed control, but they're playing very patiently, protecting the Sneasler every time they get it in. And I don't have a good threat into Volcarona except Fairy Terra Blast. I think Volcarona drops the Dire Claw at this point anyway. Is there any chance that Ninetales is faster than their Sneasler? Knock out our Chaladon. Dire Claw goes into Ninetales, knocks it down to its Sash. That means I just encored the Sneasler into Dire Claw, except I didn't because Ninetales fell asleep. With our Chaladon removed, Blood Moon or Ursaluna is their last Pokemon. It's still possible. Terra Blast, Sneasler, Blizzard. Sneasler's knocked down to a Focus Sash. Dire Claw takes out Volcarona. Does Ninetales thaw? No, or not thaw. Wake up. No, so it drops to Hyper Voice. Alright. I think that's 3 losses, and I think I can wrap it up there. I think this is one of the Tournament Team Tuesday videos of all time. I definitely... the holiday definitely threw me off a little bit, but, you know. New Regional happened. Wanted to take a look at the developments as soon as I could. And it's a fun team. It's very threatening. under different circumstances, maybe I could have found some better ways to play it. But this is Reg H. Everything's so flexible, and everything is... all the best teams have so many different threats that they can throw at each other. It's a tough format to figure out sometimes. I did really enjoy the Quiver Dance Volcarona, though. We got some games, win or lose, where it felt like just a massive threat that opponents were having a hard time dealing with. And there are a lot of little supports on this team that create some fun openings for it. So it's definitely an interesting team. I can see why it won the regional in Brazil. And the runner-up team looks very different from this. I think that's probably going to be the next one of these. So see you then. And in the meantime, lots of other things still going on this channel every day right now. So no shortage of content to check out.